Seated, we are about to start council meeting. This is an ordinary municipal council meeting. The date is the 30th of April 2025 and the time is 9:05. We are opening our meeting now. I would like to ask Councillor, the Deputy Mayor, to take us through with a prayer. Thank you.
Let's bow our heads, close our eyes. Heavenly Father, we're here today. We appreciate for the waking up from our mattresses. We feel so much blessed for this day. We feel so grateful even about the rain, so that other people can even survive from it. We are here today for the matters of the community and the matters of our future generation. Give us the wisdom that surpasses all men's understanding, and give us peace and joy as we gather here. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Executive Deputy Mayor. We are in item number 2. There is an attendance register that is circulating. Can we all please sign on it? Moving to item number 3. It is application for leave of absence. I received one apology from Councillor Bill Nell. He has personal matters that he needed to attend this morning. Item number 4 is declaration of interest. Any councillor who would like to declare? None. Moving to item number 5, which is confirmation of minutes for previous meeting. Can the administration please take us through to the previous minutes?
For the minutes of the special council meeting, 31st March 2025, starting on page 7, 8, 9, page 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, page 19, 20, 21, page 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and attendance registers 29, 30, 31, and 32, and that concludes the minutes of March 2025.
Thank you very much. The minutes are 7 councillors. Is it a true reflection of the minutes? Councillor Dave?
The Speaker proposes we accept the minutes as read.
Councillor Olivier? Thank you. Moving to item number 6, which is statements and communication by the Executive Mayor and the Speaker. Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, fellow councillors and members of the public, this morning I address you with a mix of emotions, concern for the challenges many of our residents face, and deep appreciation for the strength and unity shown by our communities in times of hardship. Over the past weeks, our municipality experienced check fires with one fatality in displaced families and diminished homes. These events highlighted once again the dangerous and insecure conditions that many of our residents still live in. I want to thank the ward councillors, those in the affected areas for their support, and our disaster management officials who were on the ground to assist. A heartfelt thank you to also goes out to all the volunteers and the broader Plettenberg Bay community who responded with generosity and care. A special mention to the Dignity Fund for stepping in to help. As we support in the recovery process, I want to urge all residents to exercise caution, especially as winter approaches. Sex fires are often preventable. We are committed to strengthening awareness and safety education in our communities. This call is made not to blame, but with empathy and concern for the well-being of every household. In addition, we are deeply disturbed by the recent incidents of gender-based violence. At the end of May, the body of a woman was found in Kranspos and another in Kwanakatula this past Sunday. These are tragic reminders of the ongoing violence faced by women in our society. Incidents of violent crime also occur in other parts of Bitou, and we mourn with the affected families. Violent crimes in general remains a serious concern in our communities, robbing families of peace and stability. As leaders, we stand committed in condemning all forms of violence. We continue to work on SEPs, community policing forums, and civil society to build safer communities. Still, this fight requires everyone within our communities to play a part in speaking out, protecting one another, and shifting the culture that allows such violence to exist. On a more constructive note, I want to remind all communities that the municipal draft budget is open for public comment. Ward-based public meetings are underway to ensure that residents can participate meaningfully in shaping our priorities. Ward 1, 5, 3 and 7 have already concluded these sessions. I sincerely thank Councillor Mangaba, Councillor Mshlana, and the communities involved for their valuable contribution. I also want to once again apologize to the residents of Ward 5 for not being able to attend, and personally want to thank Councillor Mangaba for the leadership he has shown during in my absence. Tonight, Ward 2 will hold its community engagement, and alternative dates for Ward 4 and 5, which were postponed, will be announced soon. I encourage all residents to attend these sessions. Your voice is not only welcome, but it is indeed needed. And finally, to end on a positive note, I also want to congratulate the recently graduated officials and councillors. Your achievement is a proud moment for our municipality and a testament to your dedication to growth and service. Well done. And may you continue to lead with knowledge and heart. And let us keep moving forward. Let's be united in our compassion and focus on service delivery. And let's be committed to the well-being of the residents of Bitou. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Madam Executive Mayor, for your speech. We are moving now to item number 7, which is presentations. There is none. Item number 8, items for information, which have been dealt with by the Executive Mayor. Circulating. Item number 8. The item is 7. Councillor Mangaba.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I see on this segment of council items for information which have been dealt with by the Executive Mayor in terms of a delegated authority. There's an item on consideration of grant in aid allocation. Speaker, if you may recall, in February, I had brought to the attention of this council that in December, there was a grant in aid that was actually granted. However, and when we actually delved into it, I got a confirmation between the accounting officer as the mayor and the mayor in this space that that information is actually meant for the public and there's nothing to hide from it. Now, I remind this council again that the NPOs in the community are still asking me questions with regards to that grant in aid. So I was hoping that by now the information would have been published. I have the information, but I'm urging this council again that the promise that was made, can it be done? so that I don't seem as though I'm actually going against council to actually share this information, this which is public funds that are meant to actually be informed to the public. But second to that, now there's the one in question, which is the one that 244,000 that was actually allocated to City Art Fest for that celebration of the 21st of March. We appreciate the information that is actually granted because now it's very specific to whom it was granted. But then again, Speaker, this now questions the validity or rather accuracy or rather the proper channels that are followed. Are they followed to the T? Because I know that a day before the celebration, I was in this building when officials were running around looking for a proposal from the city arts. And these are the very same people that were paid. If they were paid, we already had approved their application prior to actually having a proposal with them, with us. Because I know that their proposal was found at the securities at the entrance a day before the event. Now it questions how really valid are these when they have open and closed times. And then we have officials running around after the closing date to actually find a proposal for a disbursement that is probably almost done. So I really need us first to actually have the information published as the promise. Like I tell you, I have it. And the reason why I've been holding it back from the community is that I don't want to seem as though I'm actually going against council. However, it was promised in this council that there's no information to hide. This will be published. So I would really like us to actually stick to our word where that is concerned. But where this is concerned, like I tell you, I've got really nothing to say where validity is concerned, because really how it transpired, it goes to show that there was actually cookery happening in the behind the scenes. I rest.
Thank you, Councillor Manglaba. Your concerns are noted. Moving to item number 9, which is noted. Do you want to respond to that? MM?
No, thanks. Let me just respond. I think the second part is very disturbing. I don't think it should be left like that. So on the first one, the information is public. I don't know what is more. My response and the response of the executive mayor was that the information is public. The NPOs that applied and affected were informed. The information the councillor is giving, he can provide to anyone, member of the public, NPOs and anyone. So there's nothing illegal about him providing that information. So that's on that first issue. If I received that it must be in public advertised somewhere, I don't know why we would incur a cost of putting this in the newspaper for something that is already public document. That's the first point. The second point is, the councillor is casting aspersions on a process that went out, a procurement process. Now, Bitou is having over 650 employees, Tanya. 650 employees. The councillor is talking about the employees were running around. So, casting aspersions that I don't even know whom to inquire from out of the 650 employees that was running around or had this now prior the time. My understanding, this was advertised to me. It closed, it was evaluated, it was awarded through a procurement process. It's very, very worrisome, what the councillor has actually raised, because it casts aspersions on things that the councillor himself does not have any proof of, or is not providing any proof of here. The process went through a tender process. I think it's going to be reported in the next supply chain tender process in terms of all the awards that were actually made. If the service provider did approach the municipality, there's nothing wrong for them to, anyone for that matter, to approach the municipality and partner with the municipality. We then take a decision whether we accept an unsolicited bid or we don't accept an unsolicited bid. The process was advertised. So I don't know. I don't want you to note it, Speaker, because we'll come in the next meeting. I'm expected to give an answer on something that is casting aspersion of 670 employees that I don't know which employee was running around and which employee had this thing from the security company or from the security desk, So I just wanted to clarify that so that there's no expectation of me to respond on this matter. That is not clear. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Executive Mayor.
Yeah, Speaker, I think on the first occasion of granting aid, my office has also provided now the council with hard copies. Because as the MMS has alluded to, the MACO document or the MACO meeting is a public document. So no one is hiding anything. It was in council for information with reference to in which MACO the grant allocations was made. So it's there, it's a public document. I'm not sure what else is expected and for what reasons. Secondly, on the allegations of crookery, like the MMS said, the granting aid was advertised, applications was made, some of those electronically as well. So the council is talking about crookery, and I'm not going to comment on that. If there's any on the issue of crookery,
You are already commenting, babes.
because there's a tendency to make general statements.
And it's not a general statement.
No, if you why?
Proof of crookery.
Councillor Mhlanga?
So thank you, Speaker. I'm glad that and if the council has got any other issues, yes, he can put it in writing, the allegation that he's referring to. Put it in writing and ask for investigation. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Mhlanga?
Yeah, thanks, Speaker, and good morning. I think this process of granting aid for transparency purposes, maybe in future we must get the information of who has applied, because we are only seeing one service provider or NPC that was awarded. Yeah, so I hear what Councillor Manaba has raised in terms of what seems to be allegations. And I think it is proper that he be afforded an opportunity to, as the executive mayor have said here, to raise that in proper channels instead of us seeming to want to respond to what he has said. And I think, Speaker, as councillors, we are protected by council. We can say anything here as long as we are not, I know sometimes someone said, as long as we're not insulting,
Malicious
or beating anyone.
Derogative.
Yeah, so we can raise anything we want to raise. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Councillor Manaba, you have all the right to provide us with the crookery that happened on that specific granting aid. Thank you very much. Moving to item number 9, noting of outstanding implemented council resolution. The outstanding resolutions are serving. Councillor Swart.
Thank you, Speaker. Propose we note those outstanding resolutions.
Can it, Speaker?
Thank you. Moving to item number 10, which is consideration of consideration of reports, non-delegated matters. Can the administration take us through to the reports?
Section 1, Office of the Municipal Manager, item 3/1/316, 04/25, Bitou Municipality Risk Management Framework Documents, 2025-2026, page 45.
Item 7. Councillor Swart.
Chair, propose we go through the recommendation by the Executive Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Olivia.
Second.
Thank you.
P/1/317/04/25, the appointment of 2 audit committee members. Page 191, please note that Annexure A and B was only circulated to councils due to the Copy Act restrictions.
Item 7. Councillor Swart.
Speaker, I propose we go through the recommendation of the Municipal Manager.
Councillor Olivia.
Support.
Item C/1/318/04/25. Application to waive a requirement of the General Notice number 50737 of 30 May 2024, upper limits of total remuneration package payable to municipal manager and managers directly accountable to the municipal manager. Page 196.
The item is 7, and I would like, before I give to the councillors, to the municipal manager to first speak to us on this item.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, you are aware, Council appointed Hereby Bay as the CFO, and Marcel Mini, Director Planning Development, as per the previous council resolution. Also, Council, to note that this council made a decision to remunerate all directors on equal pay basis. However, I did, on my return to council in September, October, raised to council that although that decision is an in-principle decision to get all directors to be remunerated equally the same, it does not mean that this council has authority to actually implement or to implement that. It's the same basis that this council was trying to charge me for, and then cannot implement that until the national minister has actually approved that. However, same council has actually went and approved it for other directors, which has led to irregular expenditure. Unfortunately for those people, now they are affected. So both Marcel Mini and Chris Mapeng have accepted. However, there's conditions that Marcel Mini has put, and some of those conditions will then come only once we have received the process outcome from the MEC in terms of the appointment process. It's a number of things that he has actually raised. One of them includes that we must apply for the waiver, which is a normal process, So the others are related to some of the benefits you would have accrued in the next few months or 1 or 2 months, and issues of leave and all of that. So we are applying for a waiver. I must, however, highlight to council, Tanya, I'm not sure if you are able to put that. Is that it? Okay. So I must, however, highlight to council, because I'm involved in these processes, both provincial and sometimes with us, the command at national. The upper limit for senior managers has been something that has been under discussion for quite some time now. In short, we almost 6 or more than 6 years, but the last 6 years we have strongly made, it's 10 years in total, but the last 6 years we have strongly made a coordinated effort where we have submitted, we were part, both myself and Felix, of the team that made submissions in terms of the upper limit process. So it went to even to COCTA appointing an external person to evaluate the process, and they came with that report. Unfortunately, at that time, we were all anticipating that COCTA was gonna actually implement those recommendations of that report, which did not happen. So I just want to take you through this in 3 minutes. The upper limits have been reviewed for senior managers. We're not dealing with the upper limit of the councillors now. I can share that information outside the meeting. I've withdrawn yesterday totally in terms of supporting that process for personal reason on the issue of the councillor. So if you look at this one, there were four fundamental issues. Felix, you would remind me. The first one was the issue of equal pay for the equal work. The issue of salary creep, meaning your juniors actually earning more than your seniors. Thirdly, also in relation to the what you call the salary market in the salary in the market in terms of what the director is supposed to be. From that investigation by COPTA, it was very clear that the salaries of the directors and municipal managers were far substantially lower than compared to their peers in national and provincial government and also in the private sector. Then the upper limit was issued. Councillor Swart, you would recall also in your discussion in the district, the problem with the upper limit said minimum, midpoint, and maximum. But it did not say who you must appoint at minimum, who you must appoint at midpoint, who must appoint at maximum. It did not put a criteria in terms of who you must appoint. Then last year, there was a circular issued that all municipalities must appoint at minimum, which creates a problem on its own because if somebody is already earning at a maximum, you cannot offer that person, but that circular then force all of us to say you must actually issue at minimum. We then raise an issue with COPTA to say this is problematic because if we appoint somebody that is already earning 1.4 and the minimum is 980 for a grade 3 municipality, we cannot offer 980. The person is not going to take the position. So this circular addresses those things. If you can just quickly go up on the first part, so forget about the preamble and all of that. That much has not changed. Forget about the definitions. Few definitions have been added. So what they've done now, they've changed this table. So they've categorized municipality in terms of the grading, same grading that is used for Bargaining Council, grade 1 to grade 10 municipality. According to this document from COPTA, which is still a draft, we are grade 4 municipality in Bitou. So directors must be remunerated at T20 in terms of the Bargaining Council salary scale. So they are standardizing the salary that there's no Bargaining Council employees or directors' salaries. Everyone must be paid in terms of the Bargaining Council. They are proposing that, sorry, the municipal manager on the T20, T4, my eyes standing must assist me. Grade 4, T20 are directors and T22 municipal manager. You can pass this one. Then there it is. You will see. This is where they have actually tried this thing now. So for a grade 4 municipality, they are saying there must be a minimum point, and they even define it later on. So there must be minimum point for the grade 4 is that amount. Then there's a lower point, and then there's a midpoint, and then there's an upper point. Then eventually there's a maximum. But what is important here, you can go, Tanya. What is important here? Yeah, that's the directors and MM. To the next one. What is important is that they now say if you are a new appointee for the first time as being the director, you must be appointed at minimum. Whether you have what qualification that is above than the required, the first time as a director, you must be at minimum, which was not there before. If you've got 1 year or 2 years being the director, you must be appointed at lower. So nobody is going to receive the maximum anymore going forward. Then if you have 3 years in the job, then you must be appointed at midpoint. Only after you are 4 years in the job, you can be at upper. So what it means, the directors that we have appointed, they can only get increases to meet an upper point only after they've completed those number of years of experience. It's not automatic that they must get the maximum amount and then they remain with that unless it applies to the ones that were approved in terms of that waiver. So that is what is about this now. And then you can continue. The other things I think it's normal. The last part is the continue here. Then there's an issue of, again, recovering the money for people who are overpaid and all of that. So they list all the municipalities, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and past that. So it's on grade 4 municipalities, which we still have to make a comment and submit that. It does not have an impact on the salary for other staff. It is there, grade 4. You can pass this one. But Annex G, you can forget about this one. This is a stain one, is a rural allowance, which is not applicable to us. So this is the one that Proctor sent to MEC. You can pass this one as well. It just explains the form. This is the form that needs to be completed when you apply for a waiver application. You have to complete this form, but go to Annex G, which is much important now. Yeah. So Annex G. So those are the, okay, sorry. Yeah, go to Annex G is fine. I will call combined D and E and F, understanding what is happening. So Annex G says you're appointing Mr. Claude Blanche as the director, community services.
10 years from now.
So if you appoint him and the municipality is got a disclaimer audit, he cannot get an increase until he has actually resolved improving the audit outcome and it's achieved. So he says, although there is this amount, you will see a grade 4 municipality is 1.3 here, but on the one on top, it's actually 1.6, 1.7. Yes, 1.7. But they are saying now to council, although you can pay 1.7 at minimum, you must not pay 1.7 because the municipality is not achieving. So that is what is listed on Annex D to say you are not on clean audit or the municipality is financial, what is called it, financial distress. So you will notice here now that Bitou is noted as under financial distress, which we got out and then we got in again and then we got out. And I know we're going to get back to financial distress as soon as I leave in August. But that's the point for another discussion. So you cannot pay.
Order.
Apologies, Speaker. Then
It's wet outside. We can't accept buckets of cold water like this.
yes, so apologies, Speaker. But if you look at the history of Bitou, Councillor Blanche, you would one day call me and say the statement that I have made has been realized as a reality. If you take it from 2013 until now, you will understand that reality in Bitou municipality. But that's not the point for discussion. I'm trying to emphasize the point that if the municipality is in financial distress, we cannot pay directors according to this draft now, 1.7. We can only pay them 1.2 minimum until those directors take the municipality out of the financial distress or improve the audit outcome. I think audit outcome is on Annex E of this document. So although you can pay 1.7 in terms of the upper limit, draft upper limit, which is going to be approved, however, financial distress says you cannot pay 1.7. Get out of the financial distress. So it brings about the responsibility on the directors as well in terms of improving. My take, I don't know, this is my view. I don't think there will be any waivers that is going to be approved now until the minister is finalized, because this is actually meant to address all the challenges that have been there in the last 10 years. I asked Phyllis to do slight calculations for me, which we have to make comment. It seems what they are offering on this is still slightly below than the managers. Now, that matter is the matter of council to decide, because it's got financial implication that it costs the municipality more, because you've got seven managers, I think 7 managers who are actually earning already above even what is proposed here, So it's either remember the upper limit approval of the minister said that we must stay. How are we going to address that situation? So it's either we go and address that situation internally and take out the scarce skills allowance. I'm not sure if you've taken that situation. and take out the scare skills allowance and those things and see what is the salary. But with the scare skills allowance, still those managers are actually earning more than the directors. So when you consider this going forward, you have to consider this in line with the affordability of council and what financial impact it creates to the municipality. So 1.3, 1.5, 1.7, sorry, that's for the municipal manager. So we are under financial distress. If this was approved or is approved last month by the minister, it means the municipal manager that you're going to appoint, you must not appoint him at 1.9, it must appoint him at 1.3. If this was approved already by now by the minister, it means the director that you are appointing, because you are under financial distress, according to this document, which we still have to reply on, the director that you are appointing was appointing at 1098730, not 1.7. That is according to this draft document now, until they get out of the financial distress. Anything I'm missing? Sorry, through you, Speaker.
Councillors,
Sorry, no, might be something that I'm missing.
I think, if I may just add a little bit to what the NMS said. So I've worked through the document and there are various anomalies in this document. And if you go through the list of municipalities in so-called financial distress, I don't know how it is determined, but municipalities with clean audits and very sound financial positions currently appear in the list of municipalities under financial distress, which could definitely not be accurate. Even a municipality like Plettenberg, it says they have an outstanding audit. We all know they have a clean audit. Many instances, and they're also under financial distress. So is George, according to this list, which is definitely not true, which means there are various anomalies that we need to address. If you look at that table that is on the board there, I mean, grade 41098, every single manager in this municipality, from a T15, the 8th notch and above, earns more than that. Every single manager. Which means that the calculation, according to COCTA, of what a T20 value is wrong. And it is wrong by at least 30%. They are not taking into consideration ordinary municipal benefits that apply to bargaining council employees. Those are matters we will raise as soon as we get invited to officially comment on the document. But currently, what is in this draft is definitely inaccurate in many instances.
Yeah, the process we will follow, because we were going to be asked to submit comments. We'll make those comments and then provide it to answer the comments that we're going to make to COCTA. For your information, through you, Councillor Plettenberg, we are not in financial distress now. Definitely not now. At least when I'm around, I don't think we'll be in financial distress, so don't have to stress about that. So this is a draft document, but unfortunately, we still have to follow the process of application for waiver in terms of the old upper limit that was issued. But it's still my opinion. I doubt if National COCTA is going to approve any waiver, because they want to finalize this as soon as possible and actually implement according to this. For the municipality, financially, it will be financially beneficial. Fortunately for the incoming directors or the directors that are appointed after the previous waiver, it might have financial implication, and still we're going to sit with the other directors earning, but it's not in your hands. It's the determination by the national minister. There's a lot of things that are progressive to me, because performance has to actually also, because we cannot remunerate directors that have got disclaimers. They bankrupt the municipality, but they still earn the same money all the time. So there's a lot of positives for me, which I'm going to comment that they've actually taken them, non-performing people, the current legislation does allow you as council to even reduce my salary if you feel that I've actually not performed in terms of the KPIs and everything. So that's it. So the two items is to still follow that process of applying for a waiver, because we have to apply for a waiver. In terms of the basis of principle, all directors must be remunerated. The challenge is were we premature? Did we take that decision prematurely of saying all directors must be remunerated equally? Maybe hindsight, yes. Maybe hindsight, no, because you are trying to address an unfair labor practice matter. So there's nothing wrong that council actually did, but you were trying to address an unfair labor practice matter. Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillors, the item is 7. Councillor Mangaba.
Thank you, Speaker. Well, Speaker, if you go through the document in itself, you'd be motivated to see that it actually reinforces performance. People are actually paid for what they do, which is what we've always been advocating for. That at times, and especially where budgets are concerned, excuse me, where bonuses are concerned, you somewhat find yourself feeling if you were the one dishing out these bonuses, there's certain figures that would not be benefiting from based on what you know that they get up to do on a daily. So I think it speaks on that. And the issue I foresee is that we will now be unable to attract HODs. Because I think what we celebrated in the former years was the fact that our directors moved from a temporary base to a permanent base, which then meant we are able to attract people who are coming from afar to actually come and settle, because now there's permanence. If they need to scoop their families or anything like that, there's permanence. But then again, we also had a concerted effort that we're making to ensure that we recognize one of our own. As we develop them, we prepare them for these positions. But then now, a situation we are sitting with is that people at senior management level are actually earning higher than your directors, which would then mean people will be comfortable sitting at management level than actually opting for directorship. And if we look at it just the financial aspect of it, no one will be motivated to actually go for an HOD position, especially when they do not have 5 years or more experience. Because now what this means now is that their salaries will have to start from the minimum, which is what we are sitting with regards to the conversation the says he's had with Marcel Mini. I do hope that we have a win somewhere there, because at the end of the day, in as much as money is a motivator, there's other aspects that are actually motivating for a person's progression where career is concerned. Now I have a question though, because the person that we are appointing as a CFO at the moment is not a new name in this council. He said about him in 2022. And there was already a waiver that was applied on his name, because we now know that waivers are not applied for an office, but they're rather attached to a name based on experience and accolades. Now, I do remember that before we actually took in Felix Litter, we had already applied for Christmas Bay, and there was an approval thereof directly linked to his name. Now, I want to confirm if that still stands, or must now we start over? Because now I'm avoiding a point where we are sitting here knowing that in a month's time we'll have a CFO, to find that he hits us with the very same that he had us in 2022, 2023, when we had waited and the day never came.
Councillor MM.
I can answer that. It's a new process. So if you look at that waiver approval, it says that is linked to, for example, linked to my contract. So my contract ends August. It ends August. In August. That is confirmed. Not the only one that knows. It's confirmed. So my current contract that I've signed, when it ends through reservation or through the time, it ends there. So I cannot rely on that waiver that it was actually approved. So it's the same. That process, Christmas Bay did not take the position. So we cannot use that approval to give to him again. So we must apply again for the new process. All that it does now, it actually speed up the process to COGTA, because they've already evaluated and looked at him, in terms of experience and qualification. By the way, the municipality requirement was at NQF level 7. He's got masters. I'm just raising deliberately, so it has to be.
So there's elasticity in our negotiations where that is concerned, right? Thank you. Now, I think another thing that I understand that this, I may be going off on a tangent, or this is actually not a platform for it. However, we need to now that we have the document, because the document in itself, we see it's progressive. However, there's anomalies just about it. And now that we've picked that up now, we don't wait up until the opening of comments. Comments must be drafted now between the accounting officer and his HODs that they're well versed where this is concerned, so that when that opening is availed, we are able to submit as such. Because I know now whoever's listening in the public is now almost worried: are we going to survive? Are we going to be able to make the next payday? And based on the fact that we are somewhat listed as on financial distress, and these are comments that now must actually be made so that when the time is right, we are able to actually get the good outcome from it. Because the document in itself, media is really progressive. People are what they bring to the table, and that's what we've been advocating for the entire time.
Councillor Mangaba, Councillor Mhlana?
Oh, I think.
Yeah, covered.
I suggest, Speaker, we will make the comment. Comment is not open, but I would prefer, because this matter affects us, our salary, that we make the comment and we submit the comments in council. We check those comments, but we are not obliged to submit comments through a council resolution. I must just state that. But I would prefer that we still show you what are the comments that we are making, because later on, we don't want the information to be as if we are hiding because it's benefiting the directors. So we will still make, even if it's not a formal item, but we'll inform all councillors in terms of the comments that we are making here. So, and my apologies about the joke about the financial distress and all of that. So we're not in financial distress, so we will communicate with them that.
Thank you very much. The item 7, councillors. Executive Mayor.
Speaker.
Councillor Renshaw.
Second the proposal.
Jones.
Section 2, Finance, C/2/272/04/25, Revenue Management Report for March 2025, page 217.
Item 7. Councillor Swart.
Yes, Speaker, I just want to check in the first schedule we have if the columns are correct, because it's a March report and it goes up to February, and all the other tables reflect March. So I don't know if it's just a heading issue or if it's incorrect figures in there.
Yeah, Speaker, it's just a heading that wasn't changed. Apology for that. So we need to update the heading.
Thank you, Speaker. In that case, I propose we go through recommendations with the corrected headings.
Candidate Speaker.
Thank you very much. Did you capture it, administration? Did you correct it?
There's a problem with the headings. It goes to February, but the figures are correct, updated for March. But the headings are supposed to be updated to the same last one, March.
What it?
Speaker. Could I ask that our IT/technical team is able to zoom into recommendations when we are online? Because I had received notification that people were actually trying to interact with us online. At times, us saying just go with the recommendations. Obviously, we are saying that because we are seeing the recommendations, but whoever is actually listening does not know what the recommendations are. I'm avoiding a point where I would say the administration must rate all recommendations, because at times they're more than one, they're very many. So it might just take up so much of our time. Now, if the technical and the IT team would actually be so, assisting in that space, that when we get to an item, they just apply to the recommendations so that who's sitting online watching can know exactly what the recommendations are.
Thank you very much, Councillor MM.
No, it's administration and it does not get IT, so they'll just control it and then zoom in. It's noted.
All right. Moving to the next report.
Item C/2/274/04/25. Report on the implementation of the supply chain management policy for the third quarter, period 1 January to 31st March 2025, page 234.
Item 7. Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. I ask just for the SCM stock 5, look, it's 17. I remember we had a conversation with Municipal Offices regarding the number of years for the lease agreement and also the story of the monthly total. Any updates on that? Yeah, would you mind to
Is that the
same
Lookout thingy.
regional base center which developed now
The lookout.
there's a lookout there, yes. That one and then there's the central beach one.
So Lookout is 9 years, 11 months. Was advertised for 9 years, 11 months. We received bids for that. And it's awarded. The appeal period is closed. However, there's just the challenge that we are looking at there in terms of the offer, whether there's something we miss or there's a catch or something there, because I think currently they are paying 45, and the proposed new offer is over 400,000. So the bidders who did not get it are saying we're not formally objecting. Does not make sense. The market rental, would be 45,000 now, and somebody say I'm paying 400 and something thousand. But well, I said, for me as a municipal manager, if they are saying they're going to pay 400,000, so I cannot say no or accept the money. But we are looking at that matter separately. The Central Beach one, that one, you must understand, it went slightly different than the Lookout. So the Lookout is a normal lease for the building that exists, which is 9.5 years, council resolution. That one is a development proposal. So we're demolishing the building through procurement process, a successful bidder. You must demolish the building. You must build a building that is in line with that. That's the feeling. Yes. Similar as you go to Santorini in Greece, that feeling of being in the restaurants around the beach. So we're trying to take away the hockey, if I call it that way, if it's the right way to use that. So that one, because you're asking somebody to bring his money and develop, you then have to allow for that person to recover his money. So it's a 30-year lease. Currently, I think we are getting just about 5,000 or less than that through what we have tried to enforce in the last 2 years. We were actually getting at some point 500 or even less than that. Oh, it's more than 20 years, Chris, now? More than 20, 30 years? Yes. So more than 30 years, actually, we've been getting that amount. Even if you compare that one with the Lookout, what we have been getting there, we have been shortchanged, or we have actually shortchanged ourselves because it was council and administrative decision, blame service provider that was there. So the bid is 145,000 a month now that we'll be getting.
32.
Plus
minus 140, 142 or something, plus minus there. So we've looked at that one. It's in line with the market in terms of the rental. Even if you compare it with the restaurant in Santin, it is in line. But it's a 30 years because we are asking somebody to put his 10 or 12 million or 15 million there. So he must then have a longer term in terms of recovering his money. But at least we're still getting 142, 145,000 compared to the 5,000 that we're getting now. The intention of that is to make sure that we utilize the municipal assets in the best possible interest of the municipality. So that's what we have done with that fund. So that's why it's a longer period, So far, I've not heard that there's any challenges on that side. I think we're just having a little bit of challenge that we need to check with legal on the lookout one. I hope I've answered you.
Deputy Mayor.
I would love also to express the fact that the 48 million that we'll be getting from Lookout by the rental and the amount they've put, we're talking over a 9-year period there. So that's what we need to also take note, because there's no developmental aspect that is coming from that side. It's coming from rental. Whereas in this one of 30 years, we'll be getting a beautiful building. Therefore, I go with the recommendation, Madam Speaker, and also for us to take note to all recommendation number 2 that says that we also ask that in social media and other spaces for us to bring opportunities across to people. We wish SCM should be more into that. It should not be just a case of it's a notice on their boards and whatever. They should take an extra effort to ensure, because these are the opportunities for the locals. I think item number 2 recommendation speaks on that. That let there be more exposure and efforts that must be done for people to get it. Let it not be seen being interfering when we post the things, because that's what the SM is supposed to do, to open more the platforms of advertising and showing what opportunities that they have. And in time, in advance in time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Proposed by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by the Executive Mayor. Moving to the next item.
Item C/2/275/04/25, third adjustment budget. Adjustment budget of the 2024-2025 medium-term revenue expenditure framework. Note that Annex B, A, B, C, and D was circulated separately as an addendum, and you will find the item on page 265.
Item 7, Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I need to provide a brief summary regarding the adjustment budget, which is tabled also by the revised grant allocations received to the 2024-2025 DORA adjustment. The municipality received confirmation of a decline in grant funding for the water services infrastructure grant project. It's a project in Kirland amounting to the reduction of about 2.92 million in the current financial year. This is a significant adjustment that impacts the 2024-2025 capital program, and more concerned, the WSIG allocation for the next financial year, which is the 2025-2026 financial year, has also been removed entirely, despite the project being approved as part of a multi-year allocation. The nature of this project is critical, particularly for the Craigs community, where water security remains one of our highest priorities. And to prevent delays and avoid further risk to service delivery, the municipality was left with no choice but to secure borrowings to ensure the continuation of this project in the next financial year. And this decision was taken out of necessity, as the impact of halting the project would have been dire. No changes were made to the funding sources for the shortfall in this financial year. However, the municipality managed to identify internal savings to supplement the breach in the funding. Speaker and councillors, the situation again draws attention to the concerns that were previously raised by this council regarding the risk of to grant allocations, particularly where there are recurring issues such as slow capital budget performance, weak implementation, and a lack of urgency in responding to findings and recommendations. I request the municipal manager to conduct a detailed analysis into the root causes that may have contributed to this reduction, so that we may address the weaknesses with the urgency and restore confidence with our funding partners. The issue of consequence management also needs to be addressed with the urgency that it deserves. The adjustment budget also contains revisions in the operating expenditure, driven by changes in the following areas: depreciation, transfers and subsidies, and then of course contracted services. These adjustments are in line with the updated expenditure projects and accounting requirements. And within the item is contained all the relevant annexures for councillors. And then also I've noticed on page number 8, they refer to the 2023-2024 financial year summary. So I'm not sure. I think that might be a mistake. Point number 8 of the what annexures? Let me just check the annexures. Yeah, one of the annexures is a summary.
You're right, we were correct.
Okay, thank you.
It's on the digress.
Item 7, Councillor Mhlana.
Yeah, I think Executive Mayor and the MM, you know what to ask, but I know in your meeting, the IDP review, you presented 1.8 from INEP. Not sure, this is quite small, I don't see it here.
No,
No, the INEP money is still there. It's not that, or the education of informal settlement, they're still there. What we are adjusting there is mainly the research money, research, yeah, in relation to the project, because it's confirmed so far in terms of what we're gonna get. I know we wrote a letter to National Treasury. I take note of I assume it's an additional recommendation that you are from that, because we're gonna read on record. But I would have to follow after I've spoken, because we wrote to National Treasury to appeal the fact that the money is taken. Is it what, 14 in total now?
It's previously an official dispute now. At National Treasury, provincial treasuries, to the extent that we would need to enter into an intergovernmental dispute officially if it is not resolved, because there was really no reason for them to withdraw this funding. The contractors on site, the project is fully committed, and even in prior years, 2 years ago, they also took away our WSIG money without any notice and any reason, which means they have in total probably cost us in the vicinity of 20 million over the last 3 years by just summarily taking away WSIG money from the municipality.
Yeah, I think I've responded on that. Tanya, if you take the note of the American rate is okay for us in terms of the recommendation. So that's the matter. And
What's
the recommendation?
So this one. I request the municipal manager to conduct a detailed analysis into the root causes that may have contributed to this reduction, so that we may address the weaknesses with the urgency and restore confidence with our funding partners, and also address the issue of consequence management after that analysis. If I may also speak, I just add that we must remember that what makes this actually very concerning is that it doesn't just affect this current financial year, where we need to now, even I don't even want to comment on the issue of the electrification. It's luckily not the informal settlement grant, but it's other projects. There was also savings, because of the issues that were raised in the previous adjustment budgets. But we have internally had to source. I know we previously allocated 2-point-something million. Now we are doing this one. And also in the draft budget, is it 70 million or 40 million? 14. You see, so if you add the numbers, it comes to 16, 17, about 19, 20 million, if you round off the figure, that we now have to source internally. Whether it's through the savings, whether it's now through us going out to borrowings, but it is what's we must take lightly. And we have been struggling with this. And if you look at the previous performance, and please don't understand me wrong, even if there was no, according to what I heard now, even if there was no possible valid reasons for this grant to be withdrawn like that, but we still need to know as council what exactly happened. I will make my own comments when we get to the section 52D report, because there you can also see what some of the problems are. But I would really want council to support, because I think we all are, when it comes to that issue, we all raised our concerns previously. And it's costing the municipality too much money to fund multi-year projects like this. It affects our service delivery issues. In the current budget, there are certain things that we would have loved to address, from outcomes of the meetings, but because of this, we need to channel money in a different direction. Thank you, Speaker.
Deputy Mayor.
To allude on that,
Deputy Mayor.
Speaker, for instance, now we're coming from an item of a waiver, saying how the costs are to this council when it comes to senior managers, when it comes to directors. You will see that we go beyond what is supposedly legislatively, because we are attracting people that need to give us a service more than anything else. And for instance, here, we are more inheriting a financial implication that started maybe 10 years ago, to all these things of a waiver and the way we pay our senior managers. That lead us to say there's so much that we are carrying, financially burdened from all this, where we expect a service delivery that's supposed to be perfect. And still, the administrators need to advise us all the time. So this whole thing that the excuse that this project could not have been done because there was no plan before, or there was no design before, or because we planned this one, but that one we failed, we couldn't do that one, and to a point that we lose a grant. That is the things that we cannot, most of the time, we should carry, because it becomes so inheritable to a point that it's to all the things that it was supposed to benefit the poor of the poorest. Because if we go to borrowings, imagine 10 years that we have to pay interest on the borrowings of things that we have lost the grant previously. So in consequence management, I do believe that we need to practice it very well. And even the people administrators must always know when we hire them on basis that they become experts that must all the time make it minimal, the things that we inherited them 10 years or 15 years ago, with this sequence that every time the MM must outline that we've got this much that we're paying. There was never a case in Bitou that we don't pay our workers. As you can know, I don't want to say our workers, there's no way where we've not ever pay a human resource of us. A human capital is the first thing that we consider. Compared to other histories of other provinces and other municipalities, we have never had anyone here sleeps with the comfort of knowing on the 25th the money comes in. Therefore, even for us, when we come to the council, the service delivery, we must come here confidently so that the service has been made, as the way we do when we transfer and give. So it's a give and take situation of a service delivery, and what we keep our human resource into, the wellness, our human capital. So it's just to allude on that we need really to take this whole thing with a seriousness and a conscience, Speaker. I'm speaking to the conscience when I'm saying this, that whatever we do, whatever the legislation says, but the conscience is very important to each and everyone when we sleep and dine and eat, knowing that in this case, the poor of the poorest are all the time relying to us when we're sitting here. I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Councillor Manghaba.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, through you, if the executive mayor would indulge me. I've read through the adjustment. I just want to find out, because I'm aware that for the past 2 months, the executive mayor and her office has been visiting our wards. for, we have, what we call a service delivery Friday, and I'm in it for a long run and I'm loving it. Now, I just want to understand, are there any service-related issues that she's encountered? Or is there any commonality that she's found in each ward that is now reflective of the adjustment budget that we have in front of us? Any issues that were highlighted that as a result of that visit, we are seeing the changes or the adjustments in the budget in itself, if there's any?
Executive Mayor?
Speaker, that process is still, we still conclude that process. In this current adjustment budget, it's not reflecting any inputs or from the communities or issues that were highlighted. I think for me to say, what I can say is that this is what makes me even more frustrated, that, if you go to the communities, for instance, I will highlight what the issue of the ablution facilities in informal settlements. It's a very serious issue that's affecting the dignity of our people, We have the issue of some of the small things that we can do with the maintenance and the upgrades of our community halls, for instance. That's not operational budget related. That comes out in all the meetings. Another issue that comes up is the issue of the sports facilities, small capital related items, small things that we probably would have loved to add or can look at adding onto the budget. And stormwater issues also comes out a lot from the different communities, and then obviously the issues of bus shelters has been in all the communities. It is being raised. That's the issue, Councillor Mangaba, that is totally honestly disheartening that, because of even in that budget, we have lost such a significant amount of that allocation. It sort of makes it difficult for us to really look at the current draft and make recommendations based on the outcomes from what we received from the community. So that is the effect of even this issue of that grant being decreased in this financial year, but more so, there's no allocation for the next financial year, which does impact our budget. But we will conclude the session, Municipal Manager, and then after that, if there's any issues that we feel that we can look into, we will propose those at council, but I must say it's going to be very tight and very difficult to do so in terms of what the resources that we have available now that they are stretched, and we are sort of forced to look for internal borrowings to borrow to substitute that project because we cannot. It was a multi-year project. The consequences is dire in terms of water security. It is unfortunately not something that can be stopped because this year that allocation is supposed to be for the mechanical and electrical component of the project. But to answer your question, if there's anything, we will probably have to relook when we table the next draft. Councillor, sorry, I'm not the speaker.
Councillor Gabaye?
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I think seriously, as councillors, we should dwell. I don't know how many times we've spoken about this, especially grant funding, because grant funding is it's money that we get as a municipality for service delivery purposes. As council, we know if that money is not utilized on time, it's going to be taken. And now we're talking about borrowings now in order to augment the mistakes that were done by us and also to hit on our ratepayers. Who's going to suffer? It's our ratepayers. You see? So we raised these issues You see, sometimes rollovers sometimes are not genuine. When there are rollovers, there's a red flag. You must know there's a red flag because officials take time. They fight with these tenders because they want those tenders to favor their friends. And then time is running and we end up losing the money because of that. And I'm worried when we talk about water, we talk about electricity, where our communities suffered here. And we are comfortable when we talk about increases of officials. We talk nicely and we come up with plans on how we are going to do it. But when it comes to service delivery, the grant funding, the money that is for the poor of the poorest, and we throw it like that. It's very painful to come into these chambers. And when you list all these officials, managers, I'm including all of them and directors, at how much cost we're paying as this municipality. And yet go to the location there are potholes there. Potholes are not fixed. They are fixed after maybe when the speaker sees that driving to her house and says, yo, my street is full of potholes. She takes a phone and calls and they rush to fill up those potholes. That's the challenge that we have. We've got potholes that are almost 4 months now in Guanakutul. If we are driving there, we have to pass by and swerve, running away from a big pothole. Whereas there are officials that are being paid 1.9 million per annum in this municipality. And yet now, we're talking about 20 million that we've just lost. And we raise these things. That is why I'm saying at all times when issues that are pertaining to service delivery, we must be one. We must not defend what is not defendable. Now, the executive mayor is saying now that really the ship is sinking now, that there must be recommendations that are saying, let's deal with these people that are not doing their job. It's very painful, and yet we're getting paid. Because those people out there will say, look, those people just go there to get paid. They don't care about us. 20 million is something that was going to uplift their standard in these communities. So we want to borrow again and suffocate the ratepayers. Because borrowing, we must pay. It's like when you are borrowing money from the bank, even yourself, there's money that is added. So all that goes back in that we are not effective in terms of putting measures in place. You see, we don't hold officials accountable. Officials today, especially in this municipality, they are politicians. New officials in this municipality, they are politicians. If you are a councillor, you're speaking. We are like, who's this? Because they are aligned. Now we're losing 20 million. It's not the director down there. It's officials that must be able to give reports to directors and say, there is mess in Ward 1. Because really, items, most of the items that must come to council, especially ordinary council meetings, must be items that are talking about service delivery. We are coming from December last year or November. What have we done? The projects. We only receive the percentages here, and it says 80% you will find that this 80%, when you go down there, Councillor Mangaba was saying that in previous meetings, that look, we are being fooled here. Somebody will write 80%. When you go there, there's nothing of that. So I'm telling you, the communities are not happy with the way we are doing things. On top of that, we waste time here and talk about millions that people must get. And those people are doing nothing. They are getting paid for nothing. And yet we are losing grant funding on the other side. I think these are the things that we must talk about. These are the issues, pertinent issues that we must talk about. Why now a recommendation is going to say the service delivery budget implementation plan must be reviewed by those directorates that are not doing anything. So we're coming with a recommendation there that is saying SDP must be reviewed because there's a failure here. We must adjust because we're losing 20 million. And immediately, if we adjust, we must speak for borrowing. So it's an easy thing to say that loan will borrow to these people that were given grant funding by national government and the province. Now they say, no, that's easy. We will resort for internal. Let's go for borrowing. We are being fed cannon fodder in this council by officials. And yet we are mum and we defend them. This thing is about political connotations. You see? I'm really concerned when we lose this money to speak. Otherwise, we will talk here until cows come home. If we are not taking decisions that, no, this is my friend, I employed him or her because he or she is ANC or DA. You see? That's another issue where we are bloating an organogram for favors, whereas we are losing money. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Tapayo.
I was seconded by the.
The item was proposed and seconded by the executive mayor and the deputy mayor. Can we please move to the next item?
Item C/2/276/04/25. List of withdrawals, municipal bank accounts for the quarter ended 31st March 2024. That should be 2025, page 267.
Item 7. Councillor Lefevre,
Want to recommendation.
Councillor Renencia.
Seconded.
Thank you. Next item.
Sorry, ma'am. The staff outside, they're standing in the rain is okay.
On that?
Okay. For the graduated.
Oh.
Interesting.
Items.
Next item.
Item C/2/277/04/25. Fireman report for the third quarter ended 31st March 2025, page 272.
Item 7. Lefevre,
That's our cognizance.
proposed by Councillor Lefevre. Any seconder?
Violence.
Yeah.
Let me second the item.
Thank you.
P/2/278/04/25. Section 52D, reported March 2025, page 277.
The item is serving. Executive Mayor.
Thank you. Just a practical illustration, page 294. It's giving us a capital expenditure list. In this quarter, the last quarter of the financial year, it states that 32% spending has been realized when compared to the year-to-date budget. If you look at the breakdown there, I want to focus on this water services infrastructure grant. You can see there's an original budget, there's an amended budget, and there's a quarter one year-to-date expenditure. There was nothing there. Quarter two, 1.5, quarter three, 2.7. And you look at the amended budget, which was 10.4, So, and you can go down and see, I know for the informal settlement upgrading partnership grant, I've seen in the supply chain for 10 days being awarded, but still, it's in the last quarter of the financial year. And so we can go on, and so we can go. So the point is, like the issues that Councillor Kabay is, you can say that, that maybe there's other reasons why the grant is being reduced or taken away. But numbers don't lie. We can even go back to the capital expenditure, that capital implementation program. It's going to be the next item. You will see shadow balances, you will see actual expenditure. That in itself also paint a picture. So, and then these are the concerns, and I think we are exhausted to talk about this. And looking at the previous 2 financial years, I mean, it has just gone down, it's gone worse to worse, to the fact now where we've been assured several times here. I remember when we even did the adjustment last year, we adjust downwards. And then we've been assured, no, we will spend on those projects. I want to show the electrification and Cairns project, that 1 million, that's now a saving. It's now a saving. But if you look on the municipal page, you'll see every week there's a power outage in Cairns. It's a saving everywhere in the town. It's a saving. Like Councillor Kabay said, now the SDP must be looked at. Because it's a saving now. How is it a saving when there's issues, tangible issues of service delivery? When you see every week Cairns out, sometimes it's not just Cairns, because that line Cairns, not the front of Congo is 1 line. So, I don't have much to say on this one, but, we've raised this issue several times, but just a practical analysis of the problem that we have in terms of our capital. The management of our capital budget gets approved by council, get to mid-year, still we must adjust. We go now through this rigorous process now, going to communities, showing them we budgeted for this and that. Mid-year comes, we must now adjust again.
And we must answer.
Now we come to this cycle, studies and projects that must not implement. So we have a serious problem. But with that being said, I think this one, the section 71 report, all of them are sort of interlinked. This one just is other overview, so I'm not going to get deep into that. But, just for council to know, concerns are the same.
Like an old gramophone, because when you start to complain, start to
And Councillor Abdullah, can you please be quiet? The Deputy Mayor is on the floor.
Honestly, stupid speaker. When you start to complain, you are like you are bad, Lantika, speaking to yourself. You know, you are eating at yourself when you complain about things that are in your prerogative to act on. By so saying, these things are in your prerogative, in your court, and also in our court. We can never all the time sound like a gramophone. And to add on that, Speaker, when we spend more than 2 years in one thing to complain, it avoids us to go and think of another service delivery item that we need to consider. You know, when the people of the communities are complaining about things that are more ensuring a service delivered to the poor of the poorest, it comes back and saying, when do we get a chance to attend a certain second item or a third item in an IDP? Because we've been stuck into one item. That item relates to the second and the third and the fourth item. We can't even hear, think, and deliberate about the security cameras that we can see GPV has gone just up like this. Even a high mask, it takes so much to even just to implement a high mask. The clearing of the bushes, the cleaning of the towns, you will see that a budget has been stuck into one item that every time we are here. And the electricity goes and complement other kind of items that are of things that us as councillors, we need to be so confident when we stand in front of the communities. You know, a justice delayed is a justice denied. That one, it makes me to have a goosebumps when I think about it. We are here for the justice of the people, for a service delivery. And EAG is always mocking on that. And when you start to look, it is those grants our government from national gives us, and then we take it for granted. Because knowing that we are in a stable municipality, that makes us easily to pay our salaries. All of us, we get our salaries. Despite whether you're an official or you're a politician, all of us, we get our salaries from this council. So now I'm very heartbroken when it comes to the things of the service delivery that are being delayed. Monies are being spent, are being taken to the outer year. Instead, they were supposed to be spent here. So now, in a very special way, I'm appealing to you that let's do something as inheritant as it can be. We're taking it from the previous years. All of us here, we know this whole thing. So with the one breath and one soul, municipal manager, do something about this. Because ultimately, Tina, there's no one else to speak to other than to speak to you with our service delivery. We are here today, things are delaying, the cameras are not working. If you can go into community group and hear that people have lost the confidence to our things of to make them to feel safe in the town, simple things of their electricity that they need to feel safe about. We are in a new era here. For people to go and for them to eat, and things are taking long to be resolved. The other day in the portfolio committee, we're talking about how long it takes for the officials to go and respond to the complaint or anything from the call center. Those are the things that we say we're here most for the people who are best together. It means we're saying this thing on the other hand, we're saying something else. Now, when I look really the salaries of our senior managers, our directors, we've got no excuse here that we need to get. We are giving them the best life, therefore they need to give us back the best life. And the people of this town, they are paying your rates to speak. They are paying their rates. If you could see old citizens after they got their grant, when they go like this, like cows, I'm sorry to say people are like cows. I wish this should not be having a bad connotation. Can you see the cows when they are coming from the fields, when they go back to their kraals? They will go to the kraal of Isimunye to go and pay their service delivered. And you start to see that people are taking these things so serious to give what belongs to Caesar. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we are not so serious of making sure that the old citizens, they are getting what they deserve. Whereas out of their 2,000 rand, they make sure to go. And most of the time, when you see the records of what is being paid at Simunya, you'll find it's more between the old age, the pension times, when people, they even sacrifice a little of 100 rand and 200 that they could have done something else and go. But they need 40. Speaker ukuya esimunye uyobhadala. When you ask Madam Mayor about effective drift, the most times when the people need that their office as a CLO, it's during the time of people of a grant. They take and sacrifice for what they have, a little that they have. But at the end of the day, we start and undermine those services that people need to get. We've got old citizens, the cameras must work. We've got old citizens, the high mask must be there. I'm standing here for that, Betuna, that we should take things serious. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Madam.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Deputy Mayor.
I think I want to ask this question. With what is the woman-led executive keeping the MM busy? Because it cannot be that I'm sitting here that the way I know him, that he's slowly losing his grip. A man that has saved this municipality on numerous times, in and out, good or bad. If you look at what's in front of us, one can say he's losing his grip slightly. That's why I'm asking, what is the woman-led executive keeping him busy with? Because you can look at all other things. What has arisen from the past two items? It's a slight loosening of a grip, which tells me that the accounting officer of this municipality, it's either one or two. He's been kept busy, or we, let me say we, as a collective, in terms of our vision, is straying him down the wrong path, or him himself as a person cannot implement alone in the absence of us as leaders. Because, and this is not a smooth talk or what, because he has saved this municipality. Whether I must say it now in a good way or whoever seems it, whatever way they want to see it. But for this to slide down the path now, it's something that is concerning. That is why I'm just asking you, with what is he being kept busy with?
Umbuzo speak. Remains Sandolu FM.
Very much.
Item.
It is more than once, twice that these councillors are asking you to deal with the officials, with your officials that are not doing their work. I think it's more than once or twice now. So please listen to their plea.
Sorry, Speaker. Sorry for your indulgence, Speaker. I forgot to raise something because it is aligning to our service delivery. Because when we are not effective in terms of service delivery, we get serious things that are happening in our communities. As the executive mayor was reading her speech, she touched to GBV. Like it's put it smartly, this thing of GBV, it's put it smartly, not saying the killing of women. There's a woman who was killed brutally in Kwanokutuli, decapitated. I'm linking it to service delivery. We've got timer slides there that are not functioning, optimally functioning. We don't have cameras there. But we are a municipality that is very sound in terms of finances. And yet we don't protect our women. They are our responsibility. Whatever citizens here in Bitou is our responsibility as a municipality. Then therefore, when we talk about service delivery, some people might think to have lights It's something very easy not to have them. But when there are no lights, horrible things are happening because somebody is saying, I'm not going to be seen because it's dark. I still remember years. Mr. Meman was not a municipal manager then. We're talking about cameras. That cameras that are very effective, that can be put up there in those famous lights. We've got law enforcement here. There are people that sit on that op center, that they will be able to zoom around our communities. But it's only town that is looked after. Go to town at night. Within minutes, there's a van asking you, what do you want in this street? As Pazanisa. What do you want in this street? But in KwaNokuthula, there's nothing of that sort. And we can't scale our lives that this one is not important, that one is important. Animal farming. So I'm trying to say, why we dwell, but not gossip now. We're talking about real issues that we must fix out there. When we lose money, electrified areas of our communities, we are killing our people because they depend on us. I wanted to stress on that statement that was said by the executive mayor. I think she just read and moved, and we didn't talk thoroughly about the things that are happening that are foreign in our communities now, where people are decapitated, their throats and heads. Young women are raped because it's not safe out there. Now we are a statistical town now. We appear on news instead of we appear on news that we are the best municipality that looks after it. We are a tourist destination, and yet we want foreigners and tourists to come to count the townships. How will they come if we are decapitating people there? You see, come to town at night, this main street. I don't know how many law enforcement officers you will see there. It's very safe. People are roaming the streets at night, free. But go to KwaNokuthula, go to Kolweni, you will be robbed there. You will be stabbed several times for your phone. Councillor Terry Blanche, in his ward, they tend to be policemen and law enforcement officers now. They are patrolling the streets. The raids. Whereas we've got, again, officials that are employed for such. So I'm trying to say it's very painful that we lose our young women, because this is South Africa, this is a free country. If you want to go somewhere at night, you are free. You are free to go. Why do we have to hide? Because there are monsters in our communities. So I think officials are going to take it very seriously that what happened in KwaNokuthula and the other area where a woman also was found dead. It's things that must not happen again. I don't want to talk much that officials drive these cars and do nasty things and don't do what they are supposed to do. How much money are we spending in diesel and petrol? They must drive those cars and vans in patrolling. That's service delivery. Thank you very much, Speaker, for giving us this opportunity. Seriously, what we are talking about now, it's something that we must at all times talk about in this council. Service delivery, on how to protect our people, on how to protect our visitors, and not talk about gossip and other stuff that doesn't really need to be discussed here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Gabai. Councillor Seti?
Very much, Speaker. Not gonna be long, but I wasn't going to say anything, but because my colleagues have spoken enough, especially on the issue of this lady that died in Bangladesh. I'm thinking one thing that we should or we can look at is the operating hours within the taverns, especially on the weekends. You'll find out that they start in the morning 8 at 7, then till next morning. I'm not sure because I'm staying next to the tavern that is operating very early and then till the next morning. Even the day that this incident happened, I think if those taverns were closed, maybe around 1 or 2, one would have been heard that is something that is happening behind this media. I'm not sure if you are hearing. Yeah. So I'm stressing this because I think it needs to be followed up, the operating hours of the taverns, and then the visibility of our law enforcement and the police in this regard. And then one more, this is out of this as well, that is stressing me. I was going to ask here is that I think this is a third or fourth incident that is happening on N2 as well. The hit and run of people that are trying to cross from Onokutula to New Horizon. Some of them, maybe they had nice time, they won't see the cars. But one thing that I look at, it's dark there. It is that I'm not sure if that is our responsibility, but one can just explain to me, maybe if it's sunrise, how do you go about to get them, put some lights there or a bridge or something to help our people because they're dying. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Seti. DM?
Alluding on that of Councillor said, when we were there to go and see the incident, we've noticed that the schools over there, they could have played an important role if we could even put the education can put cameras and also big lights on their walls. Because if you look at the area where the incident took place, it's a place where houses are far away. It's an open space for schools and stadium. Houses are very rare even to notice anything that is there. Maybe we can take a decision here and saying we need to create a partnership with these schools to ensure those all other areas that are facing to open spaces, what can be done to assist there. It was very terrible. So I'm just alluding to the point that things that we need to strengthen our weak places that can create more crimes on it. As much as I'm not supposed to know where the cameras are, where do we strengthen, but a simple light, huge light that can be in a schoolyard or on a school wall that can even add more the lightning and taking away the darkness. It's another thing that we can propose here. And also, I was asking myself maybe that when we know Mose Minister will do this and just make a declaration that I'm going to do this. I was asking my mayor, can't do a declaration of saying the cameras must be one of the things that we can do in this council to see where can we get the fund from as an executive mayor to say now I'm taking a stance to also to address the things of these issues. I don't know whether we do have that right because we are not ministers most. Yeah, so just alluding, Speaker, that is the GPV we need. We are a women-led council, adding to what Councillor Teplant was saying, what are we keeping the MM busy with? I would love us, let's keep him busy.
In court, Campbell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, councillors. Can we now move to the next item?
Sorry, Madam Speaker, there wasn't a proposal or we didn't get any second on this.
The mayor proposed.
The mayor proposed and the DM seconded. Thank you.
Item C, stroke 279, stroke 04, stroke 25, cost containment report for the quarter ending 31st March 2025, page 377.
Item 7. Councillor Olivier,
Over the recommendation.
Councillor Valamsa,
Seconded.
thank you very much. Next section.
Section 3, corporate services, item C, stroke 3, stroke 285, stroke 04, stroke 25, progress report on all employees assistance and wellness programs for the period 1 January 2025 until 31st March 2025, page 381.
Item 7.
Recommendations.
Thank you. Councillor Swart, seconded.
Thank you, Chair.
Want to dwell on it?
Recommend the recommendation by the executive mayor, but I think there needs to be a correction. If it reads, the council take note of the progress report on all employees and assistants, and I think that should be wellness programs.
Thank you very much.
Which is the assistance and work programs for the
Wellness.
Wellness programs, must read wellness programs.
Just with that change to the recommendations.
Thank you very much. Proposed by Councillor Olivier, seconded by Councillor Swart.
Councillor Swart, second.
Seconded by you. Okay. Next item.
C, stroke 3, stroke 286, stroke 04, stroke 25, progress report on training, skills development and education for the period January to March 2025, page 384.
Item 7. Item 7. Councillor Olivier,
With the recommendation.
Councillor Swart,
Second.
By the executive mayor. So recommendation by the executive mayor. No.
next item.
I was thinking that the people were waiting to come in.
Gabi.
C, stroke 3, stroke 288, stroke 04, stroke 25, occupational health and safety report for January 2025 until March 2025, page 392.
Item 7. Executive Mayor.
Speaker, I think this is also one of those items like same thing of benefit. But even if you look at the compliance issues, or institution like us, you know, where you've got 0% compliance, 50% compliance, you know, it's just repetitive. Also, previously we have indicated that what exactly are the challenges? You know, it could be budget related, but then again, if you look at operational budget in terms of maintenance, there are boats that are not being spent on. You know, there are budgets that need to be adjusted downwards because of the time frame we find ourselves in this financial year. We are nearing to the end of our financial year. So we are adjusting downwards. We are not spending optimally our operational budget in terms of our maintenance though. But then again, we get this, you know, occupational health and safety report where there's so many issues of non-compliance. So we will note, you know, the concerns. I think we've also exhausted this debate, but I propose that we note the recommendations.
Second recommendations.
Next item.
Item C, stroke 3, stroke 293, stroke 04, stroke 25, Bitou Municipal Educational Drive 2024-2025 between brackets University Alter this, close bracket, page 403.
Item is 7. Councillors, on this item, will give the municipal manager to take us through it, because I heard that there are there's staff that is waiting outside who graduated from the University of the UWC.
Speaker, thanks. In the MECO meeting, the director and the DM spoke. So we then said the item is coming and the staff will be introduced for the mayor to address them shortly. So that was the MECO meeting that spoke. So the mayor is here, and unfortunately, I did ask Tanya if the director did send her some notes to say, and apparently it looks like they didn't share the notes. So I'm not going to be speaking on the matter.
More to emphasize the reasons that we wanted here, it should be known that it's a council resolutions that has made us to have this kind of intake and this kind of development. Because at some stage you'll find that the goalpost is being shifted as if it's only administration side and the MM to be praised with what? Can these things, they start here. They start here, they started from the audit query, that how do we develop a staff development framework that we're doing? And we responded to those things positively. We took decisions in this council. We budgeted for those things in this council. So it needs to come out clearly so that it's this council in this year that we've done such a kind, great work. So not reducing down what the administration implemented, because it's exactly what we want to see, that whatever we take as a resolution, it needs to be taken further down and be implemented. So this is an example of those kind of things that we need to take a credit as this council that we've come to this point to develop people so that even others know that we are the council that we're interested into education. I thank you for that. Jealous, jealous. I would need that. Jealous.
Councillors, councillors at the door, we see that there are students who are coming through.
Graduates.
The graduates are coming through from the UWC, and by the powers invested upon me as the speaker, I have a right. If there is an item that I also want to participate on it, I can step down and excuse myself and be on the floor. Then I can elect someone else to come and sit for a moment at my chair, because I also want to be part of that. I also want this councillor to encourage and motivate me to go even further, as go and getting honors. So by the powers invested on me, I will elect now a temporary speaker, which will be Councillor Nokutula Seti, to come and sit in this.
You can't move, speaker. Move. Speaker, you can't move. Wait, you can't move.
Can move.
No,
Oh, you can't propose second.
second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaker,
Proposing.
I propose.
My hand is up.
Okay, Councillor Seti.
Thank you very much. Sorry, Speaker, forgive me. I decline.
Moving to the next councillor. Obviously, it will be Councillor Mhlanga. Come and sit here for me.
Sorry. Speaker, sit still, speakers, don't move. I'm gonna guide you. It's a wrong thing we are doing here. It's the wrong. Listen, it's wrong.
It's right, it was
The speaker wished to come to the floor. That's where it was supposed to stop. So therefore, to grant that, I propose that we elect Councillor Mhlanga as an acting speaker while the speaker just joined the graduates. That's the correct procedure. Only for this purpose. Oh, yes. Don't let him carry in any items, please. No singing. Items. Just clean your
Councillor Pusakwe?
No, I can't.
Speaker? Councillor Pusakwe? Order officials? Order officials? Order officials? Order Councillor Manaba, can you also join? And Councillor, didn't you graduate? Speaker, that's not your business.
Thank you. Well, then I'll find my space in the executive man.
Thank you very much. I will give to the municipal manager.
No, thanks, Speaker. I think that's correct. The first thing from the officials. I know you are excited. The acting speaker says, let's just, people are happy. But I think let's correct it procedurally. You are invitees in a council meeting. It's incorrect for you to just come and then sing when you are invited, But the acting speaker, sure, he is understanding because you are excited, you are happy. But I'm also trying to protect the decorum of council. Acting speaker, as I said, in the MECO meeting, the matter was raised, as the DM has actually raised it, So for me, it's not a point in terms of all other things. The mayor actually is the mayor of Bitou municipality. The mayor must actually address the staff because all achievements of Bitou municipality can only be claimed publicly through communication by the executive mayor. So, yeah.
Over to you, Executive Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Officials, can you guys?
Stella Nilauleke, ume usathetha, please.
With the opportunity, so can we just for now focus on that? I think as a council, we are incredibly proud of all of you. And I think this is a significant milestone for Bitou municipality. It shows this council's commitment to professionalizing our public service. And I want to say that this program is a strategic investment in our human capital. And by equipping you as our staff with the relevant skills, you already have the knowledge of the public sector. But we are equipping you with the relevant skills to strengthen our internal capacity to deliver services efficiently, ethically, and with greater accountability. And improved administration ultimately translates into better service delivery for the public. And I want to say that this project of investing in skills, it is a long-term goal of this council. The other day when we had a portfolio, councils even elaborated on the need for us to look at technical skills and the need for us to also equip our lower level administration officials because we are looking into having a well-oiled machine in Bitou. So to all of you that has graduated, I'm not going to be long. I want to say to you, Councillor Manaba also, Councillor Pusako, well, you also set the example for us. I'm not going to mention any other names. Well done for setting the example. as well-deserved achievement, shown dedication, to study and to also have a full-time job is not always easy. And I see there's a couple of ladies, sorry guys, I'm not referring to you, but I know I shame. When we get home, we need to cook, we need to clean, we need to look after the children, but you have shown resilience, you've shown dedication, you've shown counsel that indeed our investment was worth it. Thank you for doing that. And I want to say, take the lessons that you've learned, apply them in your daily job, apply them in ways that we can uplift our communities that we serve. Your growth is the growth of us as a collective. Your growth is the growth of us as council. We deliberated a lot now in service delivery and the challenges that we have. And I want you to understand that as a council, we are united in one goal. We might have many other differences, but we are united in one goal. And our goal is whatever decisions we make must translate into tangible results for the crowd. There's no point in us investing and we don't see tangible results. So well done on your achievement. And hopefully some of us will follow suit. I know there's some of the councils that has also signed up for the next program. Allah, can you
Thank you very much, Executive Mayor. We will allow for just 1 minute photo shoot, then I will hand over the seat to the Speaker of the Council. So, where is the?
Forgot to invite. They forgot to invite.
Okay, if the cameraman is not here, thank you very much to all of you. Congratulations. We see the results from all of you as staff of Bitou Municipality. Thank you very much. And thank you to the municipal manager also for affording all of you guys this opportunity. Thank you. No,
Oh,
We're not one.
Speaker,
take a phone
Speaker,
call.
I think well, it was not proper for the executive mayor to speak first, because as a council, we come from various political parties, and we wanted to say something. Now you've suffocated us, because really, if I talk after the mayor, I'm the mayor. Unless the mayor is saying, no, it's fine. But procedurally, the mayor must be the one that speaks.
Yeah, Executive Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. Let me just point out that according to council, in the current council is correct. I also want to, without sounding funny, but remember, also council must know that the mayor is the political head.
Yeah.
So if I speak on behalf of council.
Yes.
I don't speak on behalf of a political head. So that is, in my case, it's not the time now for us to speak on behalf of political.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Once again, you may leave.
Okay.
No, I said I love you and I said
Then introduce an item.
Speaker, it's your time now to use that casting vote.
Hey. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much to council. Thank you, Speaker Pusakwe, I will now officially hand over back to you as a Speaker of the Council. Thank you.
Minutes of time has come to an end.
Opportunity to carry item in. Just like that. Bill.
Sabe, double casting.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mhlana, to fill in the chair for me while I was amongst the students who graduated on the 17th of April. You see, thank you very much, Madam Mayor, for the wise words that you motivated us with. We were in item C32930425, and that was in section 3, corporate services. Now we are moving to section 4, which is community services. Can the administration please take out?
Speaker, there was no proposal in a second. Proposal is the item.
Councillor Olivier,
Support the recommendation.
Councillor Mangaba.
While I second the recommendations, Speaker, I think it's quite important that we don't deal with this item void of all these other efforts we are doing in the institution to actually uplift the morale and the wellness of our staff. Trust me, it would be a really disservice if when we speak of wellness, when we speak of consideration, when we speak of capacitation, that this item is actually dealt separately. May it show that these are our means and effort of ensuring that we recognize people we have in our database, we capacitate them, we improve their morale and their existence and their contribution in this municipality. And that may we foster a culture that sticks to what the policy says where recruitment and selection is concerned. In our policy, we stated clearly that there should be 2 tries of actually recruiting internally before we go for an external recruitment. May all these efforts that we are doing, in as much as they are bits and pieces, may they tie together in what we are hoping to achieve, being the best together. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mangaba. The item
Seconded already.
seconded by Councillor Mangaba. Moving to section 4.
Section 4, no items for consideration. Section 5, engineering services, C/5/205/04/25. Capital projects implementation plan, open bracket, CBIP, close bracket. Report period ending March 2025, page 407.
Item is serving. Councillor Olivier.
Speaker, I support the recommendation by the Executive Mayor that supported the recommendation of the portfolio. Thank you.
Councillor Swart.
Speaker, I'll second the recommendation. I'm just concerned about the actual expenditure, knowing that we've got 1 quarter left, and it goes back to discussions on the previous item as well, that we get told we'll get everything spent, and when it comes to the end of the financial year, we don't. So we're still 40% off the mark. We should be at 75% really, not at 60%. So I'm just hoping that the commitment from the administration is there to get the money spent. Commitments are fine, but commitments aren't what's looked at by funding when we apply for funding, etc. And when they look at what we've done with the funding, they don't look at commitments, they look at the actual spend and what's actually been done on the ground. Just need to request or demand, if you want to, that we get that money spent and spent properly, not just spending for the sake of spending, but to make sure that the projects are properly completed. Thank you, Speaker.
Come on, Mara.
Thank you, Speaker. While we note the recommendations, I think in recommendation 2, I'm not sure whether we are able to do that. We are only left with 2 months in this financial year. And then now we know exactly that we are pressed with time where these projects are concerned. Are we able to then say, part of a recommendation to which is to note that the portfolio committee members will perform site visits, that we somewhat pressure that literally every week there must be a visit with a result that actually came after that, and especially where these projects are concerned. Because my worry is that it may be just left at portfolio level in terms of the visits, but we don't find any outcome of it. Now, with the month and a half or two that is actually remaining, if we would actually ensure that from week to week, we have visit and outcome. I know NISNA is not much of a reference to actually refer to, but there's something they're doing at the moment that is actually working for the municipality, where one day of the week the team does site visit. The following Monday they report on what they had found last week and what now they're implementing in this week. So if we could actually change gears where that is concerned, just to ensure that there's actually solid outcomes we can get from these visits.
Okay.
Yeah, Speaker, I don't know if you want to do it as a recommendation. I happen to know the acting MM of NISA very well, you know. So it's a matter that chairpersons of the committees. Remember we spoke about, I think it was workshop at some point by Southern. And after one of our strategic sessions, that at least the chairperson of the committee must have a monthly meeting with the director. Does not need via a resolution of council or a permission of the municipal manager. I don't even have to know that, you know. So I could just be CC that there was a meeting. So that's where these follow-ups are supposed to be happening, are supposed to be coming. But I don't want to get into detail now, but I think it's a lesson that collectively we can talk about it maybe outside of the council meeting. But you don't need that as a resolution to resolve that you must do this. It's partly part of the responsibility of portfolio chairs to actually do that. And they can even extend that invitation to other councillors who are not necessarily part of that portfolio. Because this project is affecting the ward of Councillor Manaba or is in the ward of Councillor Manaba. So you are not necessarily in that portfolio, but you get an extension of invitation to be part of that, you know. So what Mayko was trying to say, there's been commitment by administration to say, after the February adjustment budget, we commit that we're going to spend the money. So they say immediately when the year closes, we want to go and see what you promised. So I think that one is crafted to deal with that situation, you know. But the normal follow-up, either weekly or second weekly, portfolio chairs can actually do those project visits with the directors, with arrangements with the directors, you know. So, but I don't know if you want to make it as a combination, you can do it. But I don't think really it's a need for it to be a resolution. It's like to me, it's like sort of telling me I must come to work on Friday. I must come to work on Friday. You know, so that's what I'm trying to. I'm not sure. I'm sure you get what I'm trying to say. Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Manaba.
While I respect what the accounting officer is actually raising, I think I've come to realization, having to have sat in this council for 4 years now, that there is no such thing as common sense. And I realize that if recommendations are open-ended, they are not mandating anyone to do anything. Now, you'll pardon me when I actually raise such in detail, because most times they're lost in translation and most times they fall through the cracks. Because when we sit in council, recommendations are a mandate. However, when they're not attached to a person with a certain set of responsibility and timelines, you get people pointing each other around and no work is done. So you'll pardon me if you'll pardon my being pedantic in this regard, but I guess part of it stems from the frustration that we sit and recommend, but none of it is actually materializing.
The Mayor.
Can I propose that we second the recommendations that comments from the municipal manager is noted? I feel exactly the same. about it, but, we can note it and then take responsibility for organizing the walkabout and being relevant in the council. For instance, some of the projects in my ward are really a focus on things or in things of the progress. But I kept that because I'm waiting for that site visit to take place. Let's just get them maybe from the portfolios chair side, maybe from my office side, let this thing gets organized and the councillors get information on it in between. But I second the proposals. Thank you. Can I do it now?
Thank you very much. Next item.
Section 6, Planning and Development, C/6/187/04/35. Proposed incorporation of existing structures into the Ebenezer development, page 4.
Item 7. Councillor Swan.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'd like to go with that recommendation, but I'd like to add a recommendation as well. So noticing Annexure B, we've got a lot of indigent people living in some of the properties. I'd like us to verify that all of them have in fact applied for indigent status, bearing in mind that to be indigent, it's normally a household that must earn less than, I think it's 5,200 rand a month.
5.2.
Yeah. And I believe that some of the people that are regarded as indigent might not fall in that category. So I'd like us as a second recommendation, just verify the indigent status of people that are staying there, that the forms have been filled in, and that if no indigent form has been filled in, but they do qualify, then at least they apply for that. And also that we ensure that all the people that are staying on the properties have in fact got valid leases. So I'd like to add that as a second recommendation. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor Olivier.
Speaker, through you, would like to find out if Councillor Blanche doesn't have a lease, because this information says so. And if it's not correct, then it must be corrected. If maybe I can ask you to find out from one of the officials if Councillor Blanche has a lease on the house that he's hiring there, because from this information it says he has no lease.
Incorrect.
I'm speaking to the speaker. My question, listen nicely. I'm asking the speaker to find out from officials of Councillor Blanche has a lease, because the information is written down like that and it doesn't sound right to me. So I would like to make sure that that is correct information.
Thank you very much. Madam Mayor.
Okay, Speaker, no, I was just, I raised few concerns in my call. And I haven't had a chance to speak to my ward councillor, and we will probably have our conversations, because my concern was also relating to what Councillor Swartz point out. Some of those, there are people staying in some of those houses, and some of those houses are not in a very good condition, and the liabilities that goes with that. Look, the houses and the properties were already the municipal properties, or including it, or extending it, or including it in the Ebenezer development, it's fine. No, it's just extending the development, but we have to also be aware that there are risks associated with some of those properties and the liabilities that comes with it. I do understand that some of the properties are earmarked for certain social development purposes, and I assume that would probably external funding sources would probably be looked at to look into the issues around maintenance for those buildings. But I just need to point that out. I haven't really done an analysis on it, but that's the part of it that I wanted to understand better. So I'm just making you aware, but we can have that conversation of the record. But I think the item has been proposed.
It has not been proposed yet, because there was a question for Councillor Olivier, and I would like to pose the question to the municipal manager.
The verbal agreements that are also stated here, where is it? holding water, a verbal agreement, because amongst the also was a verbal agreement of the previous
Municipal manager.
So we want to know
Page, in which page is it?
I think we want to know.
It is 428.
28.
The orders are available, contract but have not been signed by the tenant and municipal manager. So all those things just to hear from the MM, how it protects us against such kind.
Set of things. Thank you, Speaker. Now let's start with the councillor allocation. So I just said even this morning, acting director came to inform me. I said, we'll go and check. I was shown a contract of councillor Telegraph around about September. Somebody raised this matter to me. Then I said, on what basis is the complaint or what I was shown? There is a contract, it was signed by Ralph. Alan Krauss and Melanie commented it gave him rights to occupy the property after the upgrades, even if he was to be removed as a mayor. So there is a contract, I've seen it. So administration must just find it, so I don't want, that's why I said to the acting director, go and find it, go and speak to Shady. It appears it was done in the office of the MM, but I was shown, because the matter was brought to my attention and, so there is an agreement that I was shown. They need to just go and place that. If they cannot find it, alternatively, is to go and ask if the councillor has a copy and then to provide them with a copy if they cannot find it administrative.
Copy is there.
So there is. But comprehensively, if I were to respond on this matter, I've spoken to, I think I spoke to the wrong person, Chris Schleman, that what needs to happen here, all this, so that we don't talk what for. We must talk about all municipal properties. What do we intend to do with these municipalities? And we identify them, those that are investment properties, so that we don't do this piecemeal, because it makes it difficult for me to even respond to our people who are requesting extension of lease and all of that. And then this one had an agreement, as I'm shown by the speaker now, with Lonobo Holko in 1948, and this one with George City. So, so what needs to happen? That's why I said I made a mistake, because it's supposed to be the property management division, not the town planning. So I'm expecting that at some point they will bring an item to cancel all of these properties, so that you take a decision in terms of what it should be utilized for. Once you have taken that principal decision, then we're able to go in a process that is transparent and open for everyone. We are being stuck now because that principal decision has not been taken in terms of what this community asset, because the community asset must actually be utilized for. But also I would appeal to councillors. I was listening today, for some reason, I don't know, bless you if you went to church this weekend. You need to come together and sit together and say what this property must be used for. Because now the change of a mayor, decide this one must be for social development, this office. There's no council resolution. It's based on the change of the mayor and change of politics, So you need to structure this and make a decision, and a council decision. That is why it makes it difficult to implement. It must not be based on, the mayor will change anytime. Tomorrow the mayor can change, or anytime. But you must make a decision in terms of how you want the municipal assets to be utilized. That decision lies with you through an item that we as administration must bring, to resolve the matter. So that just in terms of that, then there was it? That was not a question, was it?
It was just.
Yeah, it was just a moment. Yeah.
And the mayor?
Yeah, the MMS mentioned something very important, because we do have other properties that we have also challenges with. in terms of the issues relating to property. But I also want to say what I have noticed personally from administration. We will sign leases and then you will wait for them to respond or open an account for you to do your payments. And then boom, something happens and now it's like you're in contravention. Because even myself, I had to all the time ask for my lease. Then when the lease was signed, ask for them to open the account for me to pay my utility bill where I'm currently at. So in terms of our properties that we are leasing out to the municipal officials and councillors, there must be a short process on that because we cannot have a situation where you've signed a lease and then the lease you have to look at on time to find where the lease is, and then from there you get an email from somewhere, and then now you have to send it back to the accounts department, back to the municipal manager for them to create an account for you to do your payments. Then I want to say to council, all municipal properties and municipal public spaces, when it comes to the requirements in terms of our regulations, have been dealt with the same way in this council. We have to bring it to council, and then depending on the number of years of those leases, council are being informed, and then from there a decision is taken. I personally, from my work, bring items here. I was driving certain things, but items had to come here for lease agreements. We cannot default on that. The internal situation is something else. There's policies for them, there's procedures for them. But please, when it comes to council property, it must be the same, treated the same in all the wards. I thank you. I think council Swan proposed. I will second the proposal.
That's right.
And that has brought us to the
Close of order of business. For 11. I think the
So the councillors, that has brought us to the end of our reports. We are going back now to our main agenda, which is item number 11, urgent matters submitted by the municipal manager, none received. Item number 12 is consideration of notice of motions, none received.
Yeah, coming.
Item number 13. Item number 13 is consideration of notice of questions, none received.
Excellent.
Item number 14 is consideration of motions of urgency, none received. We are moving to item number 15, which is the in-committee matters. It means that we will excuse now the public as we are going to deal now with in-committee matters. I'm giving 3 minutes for the administration who are not supposed to be in the committee, and also for administration to take care of the public as we are going to the committee. Yeah.
PK boss also excused. PK boss also excused.
PK boss also.
They must also be excused.
PK boss must also be excused. Medicine. 2 minutes.